Sprintcars for our 1986 Winfield Sprint Car International. A Kinser up the front and one almost at the back. We're about to thunder down under as the green flag falls and away they go. Randy Kinser on the outside trying to look for the lead as they go through turn 1 and 2, and the United States driver gets it. Randy Kinser goes to the lead. Here comes the Australian champion Brett Lacey moving up into third place to try and chase out after Randy Kinser. He doesn't want to give him too big a break. George Tatnell is trying to go with Brett Lacey there in the Winfield car number 8 and doing a pretty good job of staying in touch with Lacey at the moment as they try to close ranks. And looking back through the field, the other American, Steve Kinser, has really got his hands full getting through the traffic. Randy Kinser still leads from the Victorian Dave Henderson, then the other Victorian Brett Lacey, with George Tatnell starting to lose a little bit of ground at the moment as he goes back to 4th place, and Ian Lewis, the other Victorian driver, is holding down 5th place at this stage, with the Queenslander Bob Rutley trying to... Oh, there's trouble. Dave Henderson got into trouble. George Tatnell gave him a clip. Bob Rutley collided as well. And Henderson was the man who seemed to me to get hooked up first. He seemed to get into trouble. Tatnell had nowhere to go. And we'll need to regrid them with 4 laps having gone by the board, and gee, they're travelling quickly. You can't afford to lose touch with the leaders in a race like this because the leaders are going so fast.
One little waggle, Ross, and they're in trouble in these big fields, but gee, there's some amazing driving out there. How they do stay apart. These very fast laps going behind them.
Everything looks to be in to the satisfaction of the officials. And the green flag does fall for the first of the restarts, and 21 laps to go. Randy Kinser has the lead. Brett Lacey is in 2nd placing. Then that very, very fast car of Bob Rutley running 3rd, with Bob Tunks in 4th place, Gary Rush in 5th place as they've completed 20 laps. Randy Kinser still defies the current Australian champion Brett Lacey to run him down, but Lacey will continue to work away at the tail of Randy Kinser in the hope that the American will make a mistake and allow him the opportunity of getting to him. But the American Randy Kinser seems to be very much hooked up at this part of the race because he's definitely holding Lacey. Then we have to assess whether Lacey is pacing himself and waiting for a real charge over the last 10 laps. Nobody could see Brett Lacey getting to Randy Kinser at the moment because Kinser's driving just too well, and there's no change in the other placings of the race as Randy Kinser leads Brett Lacey, then Bob Rutley, Bob Tunks and Gary Rush. The Australian champion won't give in, however, as he chases out after the American Randy Kinser. Randy Kinser still with the advantage of some 15 or 20 metres on Brett Lacey. Just trying to cast my eyes back through the field. I can't really see any other driver making a charge. Randy Kinser moving away from Lacey at the moment. Tyre compounds will start to become very important now as they perhaps start to wear a little and don't give drivers the opportunity to make that charge. Randy Kinser, Brett Lacey, Bob Rutley, Bob Tunks and Gary Rush run the first 5 cars in our Winfield Sprint Car International. Coming around Randy Kinser will have only 10 laps to go, 10 laps away from the big win.
So Kinser out in front now, and Brett Lacey, the national champ, right on his hammer as they start running to what you could call very loosely the slower traffic. Here's Randy Kinser over the line, going along nicely. There he is over there now, shifting along, coming into main straightaway. The number 2 of Randy Kinser, then Brett Lacey. Split by a slower car, shall we call them, then Bob Rutley's amongst the traffic that's been lapped as well. But Kinser's still going along in fine style, thank you very much. Leads about 20 metres now to Brett Lacey. White's between them, but he's not on the same lap as them, as they've got 6.5 to go. And at this stage of the game, it's unlikely, let's say, that anyone can catch this man, Kinser. But Lacey's the only one at this time within reach. There's Rutley. There's the 25 car there of Gary Rush, and they're all within reach if anything comes unstuck, let me tell you. Then the 54 car of Bobby Tunks, but over the line, Randy Kinser. Then White, but he's on a lap behind. Then we go to Lacey, then Rutley, then Rush, then Bobby Tunks, then Dumsney, and boy oh boy, there's some good drivers in those names I've just called out. As over the line with 4 to go now is Randy Kinser. Lacey now running in second position. What can he do? The gap's about 50 metres, not much one would think. Then coming up quickly, Rush tried to grab the third place away from Bob Rutley, and that's a race in itself over the line right now. But Randy Kinser through the slower traffic, chased out by Brett Lacey with 3 to go, 2 on this lap now, and Kinser's driven a perfect race tonight. There's a couple of slower cars between Kinser and yellow light on. Yellow light on, the race will be stopped, and that may be just what Brett Lacey required. Kinser was getting away, Lacey was held up behind some cars on a lap behind, if you know what I mean, when the race has been called to a halt, and that will bring him back to the field now. Dumsney, the man who's gone in field on turn 4, very close, in fact he's on the track, that's why the race was stopped for safety reasons. We'll find out what the officials seem to think here. Dumsney's gone to the back of the field, obviously. A judge to have caused the stoppage, one would guess. But we've got Randy Kinser, Brett Lacey, the national champ, Bob Rutley, Gary Rush, who's toey, heaven's sake. They've all gone round from everywhere. Steve Kinser Bolton. That won't be a start. Kinser obviously coming round too quickly, anticipating that his brother would go, but he didn't. We'll get him in line again and see what happens. They're playing up something shocking, fearsome, but they're away. Randy Kinser, Brett Lacey, Rutley's, there goes Gary Rush up on the inside. Only a couple of laps to go, and boy, it'll be a sprint now. But Randy Kinser very, very quick. Look at him go. Brett Lacey, the national champ, can't catch him. Over the line, Randy Kinser. 2 to go. Then we've got Brett Lacey, then Gary Rush, then Bob Rutley. Steve Kinser riding the wall in 5th position. Make it 6th. Is trying to catch up on Bobby Tunks. But we've got Randy Kinser now. Out in front. 1 to go. Then Brett Lacey. Then Gary Rush. Over the line, Rutley. Then Bobby 54 is in fact Bobby Tunks. But it's going to be all Randy Kinser. Round the straightaway and wins it well. Great drive. Second is the national champ, Brett Lacey, then Gary Rush, then the 15 of Rutley, then Bobby Tunks, then Steve Kinser. Over the line then the number 78 car of Bob Blacklaw. The dust flies, but Randy Kinser was far too good. Too good. Had it won, I guess he was the guy that deserved to take the title. He had it won when the stoppage was caused. Had to come back to the field, won the restart again, and they managed to stave off Lacey, who really never gained any ground on him in that final 3 laps after the restart. So the Americans proved their worth. Randy Kinser the number 2 driver for the Americans, but boy oh boy, he was number 1 tonight.
Thanks very much, Lee. We have Winfield with us tonight to help with this presentation, not only of these magnificent trophies, but of the marvellous race meeting. I feel that it's only fitting that the Winfield representatives have their little bit to say just before our trophy presentations. Great to have Winfield with us again. Thank you very much for your cooperation and support for our Speedway.
Well, thank you very much, Ross. All I can say on behalf of Winfield is that we're absolutely delighted to be a part of the Motordrome here. And what can one say about the Sprint Car International this evening? It's extremely visually exciting, and I don't think anything else in the world can compare with this type of sport. Of course, it was unfortunate that we did lose one of the Winfield cars earlier, and I know that George Tatnall has competed very fiercely for this race over many years, and I'm sorry about that, George. However, a marvellous race. On behalf of Winfield, congratulations to Randy Kinser in his Gambia car taking out the Winfield Sprint Car International this evening.
Randy, please accept the trophy from Winfield. A magnificent performance. Step over this way and I'll have a chat with you, because it's been one heck of a car race, a couple of stoppages. You said earlier on tonight when we were speaking to you that things hadn't been too good for you at the start of the season. You were determined to make them happen tonight, and you did. Congratulations.
Well, we had a good qualifying time to put us right up, where you needed to be on this type of sort of racetrack. And like I said, we started out a little slow aero engine problems, and thank Ivan Walker, he got all that straightened out for me and got the engines right. And then I got in little crashes, and I got overcome that last night. So, like I said, things should look up a little bit more for me.
Congratulations. Add that magnificent trophy to your trophy shelf, and you've turned in a marvellous performance tonight.
Thank you very much.
Second place tonight, and the trophy presentation to be made by Winfield to the current Australian champion, Brett Lacey. Brett, congratulations. You chased hard after Randy there, but he just seemed to have just a few too little many horses for you to be able to get close to him.
I don't know about horses, but I think abilities is what got him through. He had a good line. He was good through the traffic, and I was pleased to run second to Randy.
Well, running second to him, but there were a couple of stages where you did seem to get close enough to be able to just try and put that little bit of pressure on him, but ice cool in those situations, I suppose.
Oh, of course they are. All the Americans are like that, and they're always good to race with, and we enjoyed ourselves tonight, so thanks very much to everybody. Thanks to my pit crew and my sponsors and my family. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Brett Lacey. And third place goes to one of the Winfield drivers. Nice to have him back in the winner's circle too. Your trophy, Gary Rush. Please accept the trophy from the Winfield girls. It is great to have you back in the winner's circle. You've been absent for some time. It's been a bit of a hard road to hoe, I know, with a lot of mechanical problems and getting things sorted out. But you're back there as we expect you to be.
Oh, well, we had a slow start of the season, but everyone was saying I was over the hill, but oh well, I'll tell them when I'm over the hill. But I was real happy for Randy to win, because it just goes to show you nice guys can win, because he is one of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet, and his brother's a very nice guy too, but it was nice to finish in front of him tonight. But, we put a lot of work into the car, the crew and our sponsors. Without them, Winfield, Ivan Walker and the crew, we wouldn't be here.